found ourselves again in Jacksonville, Florida traffic, singing the song of my people, squeaking my Porterfield endurance pads along at 2 miles an hour. The car came with BC Racing coilovers on it, which I don't know what BC stands for, but I think it probably stands for bad coilovers or bad Chinese coilovers, although to be fair, I think they're made in Taiwan. But anyways, they're terrible. I don't really like them. They're more for like, okay, I want to lower the car, I want to get like a stance look, I need to be able to adjust suspension fine amounts so that I can get the fitment just right and fit a bunch of big spacers. And I'm not trying to hate on people who like to go to car meets and take photos of their cars, but you know, it's not for me. The big allure of the BC Racing coilovers, of course, is that they're cheap. I think a set new is like $9.95 or something. Say it has 30 clicks of adjustment on it, and I think those 30 clicks work well if you're on a Honda, but maybe not if you're on a heavier car such as this, because when I had them on here, I was basically at the upper end of the adjustment range all the time to keep the car from being floaty and bouncy all over the place. And then by the time you cranked it up that much, it had basically enough jounce on it that it would just beat you up over big bumps in the pavement, and it would still bounce everywhere. I mean, you could never get any sort of critical damping. It'd just be like you'd hit a bump and the car would break your neck on the way up, and then it'd come down and go up and down and up, and they just weren't good dampers. And they were pretty new, so it wasn't that they were worn out. So if you want the look and you don't mind your teeth falling out while you drive the car, the BCs are okay. On a smooth track, they did okay. Like at firm, which doesn't really have any sort of bumps on it, they control body roll well. But at Road Atlanta, for example, you get a couple laps in, the fluid and the dampers would get hot. You basically lose all damping. If you're coming down turn 12, which if you're not familiar with Road Atlanta, it's the scariest one. It's this big, huge downhill 90-degree right-hander, and once you come over the crest of the hill, you have to plant the gas, and you have to stay on full throttle, and you have to hit the apex right. Because if you goof up and you lift, then you'll end up spinning the car, and there's concrete walls on both sides. So it's the type of thing where you want the car to be composed. And with the BCs, it was pretty scary, because it was just like the car is going everywhere like this. And people will be on track behind me would say that. It's like, dude, the car is just like moving all over the place. Before we were going to do one lap of America, I knew that I did not want to keep the BCs. This is the third iteration of this light I've sat through.
I guess my overall sentiment is you get what you pay for. The BC Racing coilovers are a good budget piece. They give you that adjustability you need for the lowered look, but they're really lacking in the comfort department and also in the performance department as well. For around the same money, I'd prefer to have a set of aftermarket dampers with a fixed spring perch and good aftermarket lowering springs to achieve the same lowered look. Yeah, maybe not as low and maybe not as much camber without the camber plates, but overall more livable and more predictable on the track.